Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is inspired by the best day of the year, National Coffee Day. There's literally not much else on earth that tops that warm and cozy feeling that you get from a cup of coffee. There's just something about wearing a coffee-based fragrance that just, at least for me, makes me feel very safe and cozy and warm. The next best thing to actually having a cup of coffee is, I think, to wear a coffee-based perfume. So I have a list here of some of my favorites. So I want to start with probably one of my absolute favorites. This is Intense Cafe by Montal. This is probably one of the best coffee scents that I have ever tried. It's just this perfectly balanced rose coffee scent. Not the most complex thing, it's pretty simple, but it gets the job done. It is just, for what it is absolutely fantastic. And Montal is such a great house as well. I'm actually really finding that I'm a huge fan of Montal. I think that it gets kind of a bad rep in the community as like being a more artificial, too strong, this and that. Like people seem to have bad things to say about Montal, so I kind of avoided it. But now that I've been actually trying them for myself, I realize like I really enjoy this house. There are so many that I find. There are more that I like than I dislike. And Intense Cafe just, wow, it just stole my heart. And on top of it all, it's a really great value. It's a very nicely priced, affordable niche fragrance house. This one is just delicious. It has this really beautiful black coffee opening. I wouldn't say that this really goes in a like creamy, there's something creamy about it, but it's not like a overly sweet latte type of scent. It's not artificially sweet or like sickeningly, cloyingly sweet. It has a hint of this kind of vanilla, but it's not like sugary, gross sweet. Almost like a very subtle bitterness, like a ground coffee, like you're smelling ground coffee beans, freshly ground coffee beans. Very aromatic in that way, mixed with this gorgeous, gorgeous rose note. And that beautiful rose really counteracts that very subtle bitterness. But I will say that that kind of goes away. It's more present for sure in the opening, but as it dries, that kind of like a little bit bitterness kind of goes away. And it becomes even creamier as it dries. Definitely as it dries, more of that creamy vanilla comes out. It kind of turns into going in the direction more of a creamy latte. It really just smooths out and really comes all together. And it's a pioneer of coffee fragrances in the niche world. This really started an amazing trend in the niche fragrance world with coffee-based fragrances and really brought it mainstream, I think. It's really just the perfect, cozy autumn signature scent. I know I'm going to be getting so much wear out of this. It really has my heart. And as it officially dries, I say that the coffee kind of goes away a little bit. It's always there. It's always just subtly in the background of this. This is more of a rose-based fragrance than anything, which is why I wanted to put it as number one on the list, because I think that a lot of people are going to resonate with that. It's not just like a very gourmand, sweet latte scent. It's a dimensional rose scent, rose coffee. Honestly, this is everything that I was hoping that Cafe Rose by Tom Ford would be. And this just takes the cake every time. This is a million times better, and it has amazing performance. I mean, Montal is really known for its nuclear performance, and this is no exception. It performs fantastically, and it is just a really, really fantastic value. So stoked to have this in my collection. This is probably my favorite coffee scent that I've tried in a while, just because of its simplicity. It's something that you could wear in many different occasions and you're just going to smell delicious. I feel like coffee scents in general are usually a little more casual leaning, but this one can definitely be dressed up and be worn out in a very elegant way. It's really fantastic and it's a classic and definitely worth checking out. It's a must-have for any coffee lovers out there. Intense Cafe by Montal. I can't stop smelling it. So next we're gonna talk about my first ever Xerjoff fragrance in my collection, and to this day, it is still one of my absolute favorites, Golden Dallah. Now this is a much darker, more complex take on a coffee scent. It's not quite as simple as Intense Cafe was. This one is much, much, much spicier with incense, and it has an oud note in here as well. And it's a little bit gourmand as well. It has hazelnut and cacao and a very sweet tonka bean, but you get more of this like spicy hazelnut latte. I'd say that the hazelnut and that kind of chocolate vibe really is what stars in this fragrance. It's really what you're going to perceive the most. It's really, really beautiful, and don't let the fact that there's oud in this scare you away. The oud is not very pronounced at all either. It's more of like a supporting note in the background of this. It just gives it a little bit more performance, a little bit of a woody side, and just a little bit of a darker edge. Now this is a very powerful fragrance. It is absolutely stunning, and in the coffee break line, this one I would say is it's the sweetest, it's the most gourmand. There are two others, Golden Mocha and Golden Green. I think that they're a little more, they're not quite as sweet. They have a little bit more going on. Like I feel like men generally prefer Golden Green just because it has that green touch, as the name would imply. This is more of a straight up sweet hazelnut latte, like a dark hazelnut latte. It is really delicious, and it is amazing. It was a great introduction for me to the house of Xerjoff, and I definitely recommend this one. Golden Dallah by Xerjoff. So next we have Coffee Break by Maison Margiela. Now this is a fragrance in the lineup that I don't think people give anywhere near enough attention as it deserves. Everyone talks about By the Fireplace, Jazz Club, which are both amazing fragrances, but Coffee Break to me is something very special. One of my huge loves from the house of Maison Margiela. Now this one, it definitely has that same kind of, not like a total latte, a little bit more of like a just straight black coffee vibe, but this one has more of an emphasis on the floral notes versus the coffee. It does kind of have a little bit of a milky aspect. It's like a black coffee with like a splash of milk. It's not overly creamy because it's balanced with a very powdery lavender note. It adds this kind of green freshness, a little bit of like an aromatic touch too, and has some patchouli as well. There's some vanilla in here and a spicy vetiver. There's a lot of orange blossom. Like I said, you get a lot of florals with this one. It's more of like a coffee undercover, bright, fresh, and floral. It is a winner for me, and I always feel like a very cool girl when I wear this. It's very easy to just throw on, like I'm going out to the coffee shop and I'm gonna work on my computer, or I want to feel like mysterious. Like even this outfit that I'm wearing now, this is like the perfect fragrance to throw on top in my opinion. This is something that I would grab for. It's very cool, very underrated from Maison Margiela, and I think you will love it. Coffee Break. This one is very versatile. It's going to appeal to a lot of different people as well. It kind of gives me like some cold brew vibes. I feel like this one would definitely be more like of an ice drink because of that lavender, because of that freshness. And I just want to say also as well, please do not pay retail for this. There's so many more affordable options out there. For retail, it's majorly overpriced. For an eau de toilette, it goes for like $160 these days. It's way too much. Definitely get it on a discounter. I will leave a great one linked down below for you guys, and you'll pay just a fraction of the cost for this amazing fragrance. So now we're going to talk about a boozier take on a coffee fragrance. This is of the Immortals by Zaharoff. This is the fragrance collaboration with Andrea from Curly Scents. And you guys, she killed it with this fragrance release. When I smelled this for the first time, I was just like floored. I was so happy for her. So this one has brandy and rum. So you get a lot of booziness with this. It has a honey note as well that brings some sweetness. But that coffee, of course, with some gourmand facets as well, like praline. It kind of gives like this almond joy vibe. There's a really beautiful coconut note in this as well. Very interesting. It kind of adds a tropical side, but it also adds like this kind of like coconut milk. Like it's like a coconut milk latte. And it's just so cool because it has that tropical vibe, but it also maintains that very cozy, warm, boozy heart. It's really just perfectly balanced. It is really stunningly blended. Zaharoff, I mean, I'm telling you, they killed it with this release. It's really amazing stuff. Vanilla and cashmere just like has a little bit of everything that I love. It is a 10 out of 10 gourmand, and it's limited, guys. Make sure to grab your bottle. It's an amazing value. This is like a 4-ounce bottle. Yeah, 4-ounce bottle, and it's very reasonably priced, and you are supporting our community. You're supporting Andrea and a really great indie American-based brand, Zaharoff. The best part of it all is that this thing is beastly. This is a fragrance that when I spray it on my clothes, it will be there for weeks. I'm not kidding, literal weeks. I've sprayed this on clothing going to the gym. I've washed it and it still smells like of the Immortals. It's just, and it's so nice. It's like a beautiful scent. Like it's something that I want to smell. It's just, I really, really love this one, and for the cooler weather, I'm definitely going to be getting a lot of wear out of this one, of the Immortals by Zahara. So the next fragrance that I'm going to talk about, I just have a sample of because I was curious about it. I've gotten a lot of people asking me about it in my premieres, in my live chats. This is Acro's Awake. It's really something special. You guys are influencing me to go out and buy things, definitely on my wish list, like top of my wish list at this point. Now this one is coffee. This is true coffee with like a cacao powder on top. It's almost like a tiramisu with just a little more emphasis on the coffee, but you can definitely sense this kind of like powdered like cacao powder on top. It's really realistic. Not only is it very milky and lactonic, but it has a little bit of a freshness as well with a citrus note. It's very cozy. You really want to snuggle up to this one as well. It's almost like the feeling when fall meets winter. This one has cardamom, lemon, coffee, and vetiver. I really love it, and I see why it's been getting all the attention that it's been getting. It's really, really good. Like I said, top of my wish list. It's simple, but it's perfect. It's beautiful. I love it. So next we have a fragrance from an up-and-coming indie brand. This is called Origins of the Collector by Memoirs of a Perfume Collector. A little bit of a mouthful, but I like it. This is a different take. This is a much darker balsamic black coffee fragrance. This one definitely has a very extreme dark side, and it leans very, very masculine. This is for the men out there that like very strong artistic fragrances. It really reminds me of like something that Amouage would do. Like it has that quality, but it also has that same scent profile of like kind of like an Amouage DNA. Super artisanal. It has a very subtle sweetness in here, but it's very subtle. I think it comes from like a caramel and vanilla note, but the main accords you get with this is like a very strong balsamic resinous black coffee. Really best suited for just very, very cold winter days. This is very dominating. This is like attention demanding. And it's something different to try as well. It's a little bit smoky as well. There's something just a little tiny bit smoky in here. And also kind of has a very subtle reminiscence of Grand Soir by MFK. So if you like Grand Soir and you like coffee and you like the idea of a dark balsamic coffee Grand Soir, I think you'll really enjoy this one. This is a power move on a man, straight to Parfum, powerful stuff, super masculine. A very cool take on like a modern super masculine coffee fragrance. Origins of the Collector. So now we're going to talk about another influencer collab. We have Minuit et Demi by Fragrance du Bois. This is the collaboration with Demi Rolling, as I'm sure all of you already know. Now, what they did here, Fragrance du Bois and Demi Rolling, is they created the most perfect dimensional gourmand I think I've ever smelled. This fragrance here is seriously so perfectly done. It literally hits every single box that you could possibly have for a fragrance. It has the spice, it has the gourmand elements, it has the woods, it has this elegant side. It's perfect for literally everyone, man and woman. Really just a perfect dimensional unisex gourmand, which is exactly what Demi was going for. It has so much depth and it's so masterfully blended. It's really the perfect combination of spice with cardamom. It has pimento with cinnamon and tobacco. It has a nice boozy touch as well, but there are amazing gourmand notes in here like caramel, that coffee note, and vanilla. The coffee I would not say is necessarily the star of this. With this, you get more of a green cardamom with the pimento and tobacco, but the coffee is perceivable. This fragrance has more of an emphasis on not just straight up gourmand notes. It has a very smooth cashmere and it's very creamy, very luxurious, and very wearable. It's not like a very thick, heavy perfume. It's something that you can wear all year round. Basically any occasion you can dress it up, and you can just wear it when you're in a mood to feel super cozy. It's not one of those perfumes that is going to wear you down or limit you. It's very light, very crisp, and I've gotten so many compliments. I can't even count how many compliments I've gotten from wearing this everywhere I go, getting my hair done, going out, just running errands, going to the gym. I wear it for date night as well, like many different scenarios, and people just around me just love the fragrance. It smells beautiful, fantastic, and it's been a love of mine for quite some time. Demi truly killed it with this, and Fragrance du Bois is one of the most luxurious, amazing high-end brands out there. You can never go wrong with a Fragrance du Bois. They just have the most luxurious and quality perfumes. One of the first niche fragrances that I had in my collection. I bought it for my birthday last year. So now we're going to talk about a designer fragrance. This is Vanilla Sky by Skylar. Now this is a little different. This one is for the girls, for the people out there that like straight up overly sweet, beautiful gourmands. I don't want to say overly sweet. This fragrance is not overly sweet, but it is the sweetest out of the bunch so far. It kind of has a little bit of a youthful edge to it because of that sweetness, but I adore it. This one has been on my wish list for so long. I finally just went out and bought a bottle. It has a super realistic cappuccino note, very frothy and milky, with mandarin orange, cinnamon, vanilla, caramel, amber, and sandalwood. This is a super underrated coffee scent, especially at Sephora, the things that you can buy. This brand as a whole is very good as well. It's hypoallergenic. It's free of like a lot of things that cause irritation for a lot of people. The woman that started this company actually started it because she had a baby and the baby ended up being allergic to her perfume. So it was her mission to go out and create a perfume that was allergy safe. So this has a lot of very clean ingredients and the scent is just stunning. A lot of their offerings are just really, really beautiful. There's so many that I love. They're all vegan, cruelty-free as well. I will say that it's not the longest lasting fragrance. It is on the lighter side, but I think it's because it is hypoallergenic and free of some of those bad things that can be in perfumes that make it last a long time, but it's a great value as well. This isn't super expensive, sub $100 at Sephora, especially if you can get it on a sale. It's a great deal. And I really love it. I love the cappuccino note in this. I love the sweetness and it's very girly and very cozy and it is beautiful. Vanilla Sky by Skylar. So the last fragrance that we have on the list is Black Opium Le Parfum. Now this is a newer Black Opium flanker in the line. This came out last year, I believe. I bought one of those Sephora sampler sets, you know, where you get a bunch of samples and then you get a voucher for a full-size bottle of whichever one you pick. And this is the one that I ended up going for. Never in a million years did I think that I would pick a Black Opium fragrance, but I did. I think I was just kind of turned off because I always heard bad reviews about it being like typical overly sweet and just like, I don't know, overdone or something. I don't know. Whatever I was hearing, it always made me avoid Black Opium, but the discovery set really changed my mind on this, especially the Le Parfum. I adore the coffee note in this. Also, I can do a separate video on that sample set. If you guys would like to see that, leave a comment below to let me know, and I can talk to you guys like why I ended up, like what my process of elimination was and why I ended up picking this one. So this one does have that like borderline super cloyingly sweetness that the OG Black Opium is really known for, but this one, it doesn't last very long. Like the sweetness doesn't last very long. The fragrance lasts very well. This fragrance actually lasts a very long time on my skin. I was really impressed when I tested it, but the opening is very, very sweet, but it very quickly transforms and dries into this very nice, very sexy dark coffee scent. It was much darker than I thought that it would be. You just have to get past the opening with this, give it just like 3 minutes and you'll already start to see the difference, how it dries into this just really gorgeous dark coffee scent. Wow, I was really impressed by this flanker. Really great option at Sephora for a coffee fragrance. And if you have not liked other Black Opiums in the past, you might like that one. So definitely get out there and check it out. Guys, that is my list video of my favorite coffee scents for National Coffee Day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you guys go out and get a nice big fat large cup of coffee, and all of the fragrances that I mentioned in this video will be linked in the description below with some discount codes so you guys can save some money so that you have more money to spend on lattes. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.